for Coach Campy.
Jamal, when you walked in here today, you went to the stat sheet to see how many rebounds you had. How does that work for you? I mean, like I always talk about on the broadcast, your hand. It doesn't matter what gym we're in, if it's the arena, if it's Alabama, wherever it is. Your hand is always above everybody else's hand. What's the process of rebounding like for you?
Well, for one, I know I got some athleticism, my best of my ability, and that's something Cub always tell me before every game is try and grab as many rebounds as you can first, because that's what naturally get me started. So that's something that that be in my mind mentally before I go into a game, is just trying to grab rebounds.
For you, Micah, you guys kind of switch back and forth defensively there in the second half. Mixed in a little bit of man in there. Did you remember how to play man? Like, did you remember?
It took a little bit to remember, but I thought it was pretty cool that when we went man, we picked it up really quick. We haven't really worked on it as much in practice in the last couple of weeks. So when the timeout happened, we said man, the whole team clicked. So I felt that was pretty good.
And then defensively, what did you guys do so well in that first half? I mean, they were 3 of 16 from behind the three-point line. Ultimately, they got it going in the second half. But you guys really seemed to kind of take them to the mat in that first half.
I think that it was really the intensity we had in the first half, and then we just let down a little bit going towards the beginning of the second half. So that's when they started hitting more shots and not using high hands. So if we would have kept that, I think the lead would have been a lot larger than it was.
Jamal, 1,000 points, which is pretty awesome. Fans are excited about it.
Congratulations.
Appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you for getting that done.
And that's even cool to see. Somewhere under that mask, he might even be smiling. But, end of the day, do you care about 1,000 points, or is it about the win for you?
Honestly, I didn't even go into this game, with the mindset of trying to, get that 1,000 points. I was just trying to win, and that was just something. That was a bonus. So, it's good. It's a good accomplishment, for me and my family, but just want to keep trying to get more and try and get more wins.
Did you ever expect to hit 1,000 points in your college career?
No, not at all.
I heard
my sophomore year, I had 57 points, so I'm nowhere near thinking about having 1,000 points.
Like half of them are from Oakland already, which is cool. So.
Man, this guy right here, man.
Micah, can you just talk real quick? Are you happy with your progression at this point in the season and in your college career?
I feel like I just get in there. I feel like I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I mean, I feel like I know I got better. I know that I played with a great group of guys, and this year is I just basically playing a same role I did as last year. So I don't really have the most opportunity to show what I could do. But I mean, I feel like I still progressed. If you look at the stats, I guess I still progressed in everything from last year. So I still think I'm moving forward.
I'm going to interrupt here. I think he's progressed phenomenally. Micah Parrish is going to be a pro. Okay? I'm telling you that right now, and everybody remember that. Micah Parrish is going to be a pro. He's doing everything I need him to do to win. And I want to tell you something. Look at that stat sheet, 3 for 5 from the three. And the 2 he missed were in and out. And he couldn't do that a year ago. Now, he probably doesn't want to hear me say that, but he couldn't do that a year ago. He has worked as hard as any player I've ever coached at the things that we talked about at the end of the year last year that he needed to get better. At the end of this year, we'll have the same meeting, and we'll add now to him and progress. Micah, as an offensive player, is like the paint, what they say, the clear, the blank canvas. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And he's got the stroke for the shot now. Now we're going to get him the ball. One of the reasons I wanted to play the other night against Dearborn was to let him play the point for 15 minutes. And he did, and he did it very well. His future, remember, Jamal ain't going to be here next year. And there's going to be a lot of nights you're going to be saying to Micah, did you ever think about getting 1,000 points? Did you ever? That's where his progression is going. And he's going to be, before he's out of here, he's going to be one of the best players to ever play at Oakland University. And I can say that without any reservations. He is progressing the way we want to. The problem is that we look for the matchup in the game. And tonight, Trey Townsend had the matchup. They didn't have a guy that was going to guard him. And because we're so good and can score it with Osei out there, we can score at 5 positions. And actually, when Blake comes in, we can score at 6 positions. Someone's going to have a bad matchup. On the nights it's Micah, he's going to have 17. By this time next year, he's going to have 27. And by the time he's out of here, he's going to have a 40-point, 35-point game. That's how I believe.
And Micah, did you have any extra motivation, especially coming out of the Fort Wayne game where there were some potentially cheap calls on you? You know, you fouled out earlier than you probably wanted to. Did you have just that extra motivation on the floor tonight?
No, not really. I did have motivation after watching the Cleveland State and the Wright State game yesterday and what they were saying about some of the players defensive-wise. So I did take that as motivation for today. I just kept that at the back of my mind. But I have motivation on defense for this whole season because I want to be Defensive Player of the Year and on the defensive team. So that's my motivation.
And he knows for him to be that, we're going to have to win the championship. Right? If Cleveland State wins the championship, then somebody on their team will be Defensive Player of the Year.
Correct.
Jamal, just looking at the stat sheet here, 26 and 12, those are pretty normal numbers for you. The thing that catches my eye is 11 fouls drawn. Did you see something there on defense that they were doing that you could attack, or what was kind of your mindset there on offense?
Just trying to be aggressive because I know once I catch, I know some teams like try and send double, so I just try and play aggressive early. So just try to exploit that and just try and be aggressive, just trying to get early foul calls.
Yeah, and for you, Micah, just hearing all that praise from Coach, how does that make you feel, and what kind of goes through your mind when he says all those things?
I mean, I know what I can do, and I know he believes in me, so I hear it all the time, so it doesn't, really affect me now.
Yeah, I don't always sit there and scream and yell at him. You guys see that. There are times I talk to him kindly.
Facts.
Any other questions for the players? All right, we'll go to some social media questions here.
When they had that? This is new. I didn't know they had it.
Yeah, we open that up now. People out on social media can ask.
I like it. No, I like it. That's tough.
For Micah, second half with the game on the line, you came into the game and got a couple of deflections and steals. Talk about your role on this team. You're a capable scorer as well.
I just try to be the best defensive player when I'm out there for the team. Like Coach said, usually it's Jamal, Jalen, and Trey. Great, they're all great players. Osei, Blake. So I'm not always going to have a day where I get the points, I guess. So it's just wherever day, how the team is, who we play. So I just play the game each game. So I'm not really focused on the points really as much, but I try to bring the defensive intensity every time I'm out there.
This one's also from Twitter for Micah. Coach Campia said you're the best defender in this league, maybe even in college basketball. What kind of pressure does that put on you?
None at all. No, it's no pressure.
Does anybody have any other follow-up questions for the players? Okay, you guys are dismissed. Thank you.
Out of here. All right, Coach.
From an opening statement, I was really, really disappointed in how the whole week went down and that we don't get to play again and that we've lost 2 home games against, the bottom half of the league and then you're fighting and and it's not your fault that you miss a game. And I think that maybe it's my fault that we were a little bit off today because they were disappointed, and instead of me punching them in the stomach and saying, hey, we get to play, I was kind of agreeing with them. And I really thought that UIC was ready to not, to go home. And I think we went 7 or 8 minutes where they didn't score, and then we missed 3 layups. We fired quick threes when they went zone. We threw an alley-oop pass that would have been a dunk, almost hit the ceiling. And we just gave possessions away and had 11 turnovers at halftime. And then We haven't given up baskets on our baseline out of bounds. I've been really, really excited. People are calling me and asking me about what we're doing on our baseline defense because we've put some trick stuff in this year, and people haven't scored on us on the baseline. Every once in a while, somebody makes a mistake, and then that ball's our ball, and it goes out of bounds, and they get it back, and the kid, their best player, makes a three at the buzzer to cut. I knew we were in trouble. I knew it, and I told them at halftime, and I said, we're in for the battle of our lives at home here, and I think because we were home, we were able to survive. I think the crowd really helped us. I think, obviously, when it really counted, our stars stepped up. We couldn't make a three, and Jamal Berry's one, Jalen Berry's two. So I was really pleased with that we got out of here with the win. This is a game that differentiates you from first place and fourth place, because this is a game that you could lose because of all the circumstances, and then now you're just trying to survive and finish in the top four. So as sad and upset as I was about everything, I'm really, really pleased we found a way to win. That's what good teams do. So I'm, if you look at we played great offense in the second half and good defense in the first half. We were crappy on offense in the first half. And then they got it going. And I told our team before the game, I told them at halftime, those two guards on that team can beat any team in this league. Those two guards are special players. And we let them get going. I thought that when we went man-to-man with 2:58 or whatever to go, those two guys didn't score. They did not score in the offense. We allowed a freshman 6'10" guy to shoot two NBA threes. I was willing to risk that. But we weren't going to let Franklin and what's 13's name? Johnson. We weren't going to let Franklin and Johnson beat us. And then the goofy play happened in front of our bench where they got the steal and the dunk, and then they made a three out of, it just nothing's ever going to be easy, and nothing worth anything is easy. So I'm happy. I'm happy we won, and we're going 7 out of 8 on the road. And I can't bitch too much because Detroit's got 8 out of 9 because they got to come here at the end of this trip. So two schools, Oakland and Detroit, really got the bad end of the schedule and the COVID stuff. And, for us to survive, this will be, if we can go through and win this championship, it's going to be one of the greatest championships ever won because of the way the COVID thing and the scheduling went down. I mean, it's 7 out of 8 on the road. Detroit, 8 out of 9 on the road in the middle of February, and you're trying to win a league championship. And it is what it is. What a week we got in front of us.
All right, we'll open it up.
Camp, what about that with the league championship talk? You guys miss out on home games here, as you said, against the bottom half of the league. I mean, that hurts you. I mean, it does. It's math. Like, that hurts you. And as you talked about, too, really through no fault of your own. But with without making the games up and things like that, the stakes are so high, Camp, that this is something that you guys are going to have to overcome in addition to winning games.
Well, the whole thing is we got to finish in the top 4. And every one of us know that, because if you finish in the top 4 and you can't get to Indy, that's on you. That's on you. You lost a home game to get there. You get a bye, and then you lose a home game to get there. So the reality of it is, and that's what everybody's saying, is, well, you just got to be in the top 4. Unfortunately, we want to win the championship. And I have a boss that wants to win the championship, and I have players that want to win the championship, because with the championship, you get the NIT bid. And while a lot of people think that's bad, the players and the coaches don't. The NIT is a prestigious event, and we're good enough that we could go to New York in it if for some reasons things didn't work out. So we want to win the league championship. And it's been a curveball season, but I got guys that persevere. You just saw that. You saw Jalen Moore and Trey Townsend and Micah. And you saw those guys step up where a lot of teams would have folded and lost this game. A lot of teams in this country would have lost that game. You've seen Big Ten teams ranked that have lost a game like this at home this year. I'm not going to name names, but you can find those teams. And we didn't. We found a way to win. And so you got to feel really good about it. We just know it's tough. We know we're up against it, and we're going to go battle and fight.
Also, too, when you talk about Jalen Moore, and in the last 3 minutes, and we talked about this on the broadcast, where you just know, you know this too, I would imagine, you just know that Jalen Moore is going to make a play. I mean, you just do. He seems to raise the level of his game. The bigger the stakes, the calmer he is, and the bigger plays he seems to make.
And he wants it. He's programmed for that. He wants it. I was very angry with him when he said the guy kicked the ball and he stopped playing and they got the dunk. You know, those are the little plays that can change a game. And, you know, so the frustrations like that are part of his DNA. But there's nobody else that you want around here but him with the ball when the game's on the line. And that person doesn't always win, but he's going to win more than he's not because he's proven it all year. I mean, he made the 3 against Vermont. I go back to the Vermont game. I go back to the Oklahoma State 3 free throws. I mean, those are big games. Vermont's proven how good they are. Toledo's proven how good they are. We've got a resume. You know, we're looking that if we can get through this and find a way to win this league without losing many games and get to the NCAA tournament, we're looking at a 12 or 13 seed right now. I mean, if it ended tomorrow and we were in, we're a 12 or 13 seed. And you got a chance to win an NCAA game when you get up to there. When you're 15, 16, it's very hard. So we've got the resume. We got to finish. And I just feel bad because we're at the end of the next 2 weeks, we'll have played 14 league games. And 10 of those 14 will have been on the road. You know, we got to persevere. We got to find a way. We can't get beaten down by it.
Greg, in the first half, you only shot one free throw as a team, 18 in the second half. Was it an emphasis coming out into the second half on that, or just kind of how the game was called?
Well, what happened? Our game plan against UIC is we shoot more free throws than anybody, and UIC shoots less free throws than anybody, and they also foul a lot. One of their Achilles heels as a team, if you look at the stat sheet, is their opponents have made like 80 more free throws than they've even shot. First time we played them, I think it was 30-7 or something like that. So our game plan was to get to the rim. Well, as soon as they saw that, they changed, and we got a foul and a free throw on the first play of the game, and then didn't get another free throw the rest of the half. They went zone, and we got pretty with the ball instead of powering to the rim, and that's what I was so upset about. Jamal had 3 layups that he went like this with, and just go dunk it. The second half, we started making threes because we played from the rim out. We have to play from the rim out. And kids sometimes get caught up in one pass and an easy shot. So in the end, we got 19 free throws to their 5, which doesn't surprise me. And if you look at the league stats, take a look at our league stats, our free throws versus our opponents, and that's what the zone does for us. When people, why do you play zone? Well, I only play 6, 7 guys, and we don't foul in it. And we've made maybe 80 more free throws than our opponents shot. Not made, shot. And that's why we're 10-1 or 9-1 or whatever we are, because that's our philosophy and it's working.
Can we get an injury update on Conway and Newsome, as well as just an update on Zion's surgery and how he's feeling?
All right, so Zion had surgery on both knees. He's in trouble. You know, it's going to be hard for him to ever play again even. I believe he will because he's mentally tough and he wants to play. But think about that. They cut both knees, and there's some cartilage growth problems. And I'm not a doctor, so if anything I would say would be wrong, and that's not the right thing. So I can't really tell you what it is. I've been told what it is, and all I know coming out of what I was told is we're praying for him because we love the kid. And, man, we'd be a much better team if he was playing for us right now. But he won't. I mean, he's done for the year, and, you know, whether he ever plays again is going to be on his shoulders. I believe he will. Chris Conway had an injection in his knee today. He came back from COVID, was cleared to play Monday, and hurt his knee in a workout. And They did some stuff to calm it down today, and we're hoping that on Tuesday he'll be able to practice again. Inu sprained his ankle late in the Dearborn game, didn't practice all week. If we needed him, he probably could have gone tonight, probably wouldn't have been 100%, but he probably could have gone. I expect that he's back on Monday at practice and ready to go for next week.
Coach, you said earlier this week that you were nervous about UIC and you hoped their game with Detroit went into 7 overtimes. It didn't quite go that way, and they gave you everything they had tonight. What do you need to do? You're 10-1. What do you need to do?
I think we're 9.
Is it 9?
I said 10, but I think I'm wrong. I think
Okay.
we're 9. Yeah, we're 9.
9-1. Okay, you're 9-1.
16-5.
Okay. What do you need to do in this late stretch of the season to not only finish in the top 4 but win the league, like you were saying?
I don't think we can lose again. And here's why. Cleveland State had a huge win last night. So we've got to go about the business that if Cleveland State doesn't lose again until they come to us, if we lose, we'll have 2 losses. They'll only have 1. And even if we beat them in the last game and we're both 2 losses, they'll get the number 1 seed because they'll have played more games and they'll be 19-2 and we'll be 17-2. Now, do I think we're going to be 17-2 and Cleveland State's going to be 19-2? No, I don't think that. But I do think, to answer your question, what do we have to do? We got to win them all. Because if it does happen, we're screwed. Now, I believe that it's very, very difficult in this league to go 19-2 and that they would do, and us 17-2. That's going to be hard, especially with 4 road games. They still got to come here. They still got to go to Detroit. They still got to go to Wisconsin. So there's losses out there for both of us. But to answer your question, what do we have to do? That's what we have to do.
Yeah, and you touched on it a little bit. That game against Cleveland State, it's the last game of the regular season, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think a game like that would mean for the school? Just with everything on the line, what do you think it would mean?
Well, we're putting the cart before the horse or whatever there. And that's something that if we get to that situation, I'll have a lot to say about it. What we've got to do is we've got to find a way to beat Northern Kentucky. They're really good. They've won 4 in a row. They got Cleveland State tomorrow. Maybe, if Cleveland State goes and wins at Wright State and at Northern Kentucky, I'm not sure anybody else can do that. I'm not sure we can do that. We'll find out. We get our opportunity next week.
Kemp, when you look at what Franklin and Kevin Johnson did here today, what is it about guard play in college basketball? If you have good guard play, if you have excellent guard play, you always seem to have a chance in college basketball. Why is that?
Well, and they say that's how you win NCAA tournaments is through guard play. And I think over time you win championships with well-rounded big men that can rebound and score, but you can win a game at any night with guard play. I mean, Kevin Johnson was he was the player of the week in the league 2 weeks ago. And he comes back today and goes 5 of 6 from the 3. And he's little and we're long. And that's how he did. And then the other kid, Franklin, was 3 for 7. They were a combined 8 for 13 from the 3 and lost. And, it's funny, you see them making shots, and we're one of the top teams in the country on three-point defense. And then you go look at it, and they only shot 33% from the 3, but it felt like they've shot 90, And that's how good the zone really is. I mean, when you can hold teams to 33%, 28% from the 3 and don't let them shoot free throws, you're going to win a lot of basketball games. And the philosophy of the zone right now is working. It's working. There were a lot of times last year it didn't work. But right now it's working. I just told our guys we won 12 games all last year. 12 out of 33 maybe? No. What were we last year? 12 and 18? Something like that. And we're up to 16 wins already, and it's not even February. And we're usually pretty good in February.
Any other questions from Coach? Okay, we'll move to some social media stuff.
Thanks, everyone.
We got some social media questions, Coach.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Coach, another battle in the arena today. Does it feel good to have a little to have these close battles and see that your players answer the call and elevate their game in the midst of adversity?
Well, this is the first close game we've had in the arena all year. And you talk about we've had Toledo in here, so that's saying something. It's the first time that we've really had to tighten the screws and find a way to win. And so, yeah, it's great. And I think anytime you get those kind of games and you can find a way to win, it's great. If you lose, then you're mad and you didn't like it. But the fact that, winning cures everything. It cures everything. And so I'm really pleased with the way. And in the last 2-3 minutes, we were really good. We were really good. We got the ball in against the press. We got it to who we wanted to. We made our free throws. We're a great free throw shooting team. Right now, if you add today to the stats, we're going to be over 80% from the free throw line on the year. That will set a school record. And I've had great free throw shooting teams. And this team's right now is going to be the best of all of them ever if we can continue. So we did what we had to do. We've won a lot of close games this year. That's just the first one we've won at home. I mean, you go back to Vermont and Delaware and Rice and Oklahoma State. And, I mean, you just go down the list of good teams that we've beaten in the last second. When you have a Jalen Moore and when you have a Jamal Cain and a Trey Townsend and a Micah Parrish and you got, multiple guys that can make free throws, you got a chance to win close games.
Also from Twitter, Coach Campy, Monday night you talked about developing the bench today. No bench points. Your thoughts on that?
Well, we had no bench points because Chris Conway didn't play with his injury, and Blake Lampman had an 0 for 6 night. But what I liked is that he was 0 for 6, not 0 for 3, because he didn't give up. He kept shooting. And, tonight was a night that we didn't need anybody. Blake did really well defensively. I thought that Will Shepard gave us two good minutes where we rested Trey. Normally Trey plays the whole game. I took him out for 2 minutes today. So I don't care about bench points as much as I care about what they did when they were on the floor and they led and made winning plays and led to us winning. So I'm okay with it tonight. Do I want to always have no bench points? No, Blake needs to make 3-4 threes a game.
Any other follow-up questions for Coach? Nope. Thank you, Coach.
Now I can go?
Yes, sir.
All right.